Hit a great one. It's always a good time of year. All right, Chris, what we got?
All right. Coach Ralph, your team picks up a 73-41 victory in their first game back from the holiday break. Just how pleased are you with the effort that your team showed just after being away from the court for 9+ days?
I really am proud of my team. When you go through a holiday season, finals in December, you don't play a lot of games in December. And especially when you get to go home and eat good food, you have 5 days off, and leading into a very vital part of your season, that can go, a few different ways. I was really proud of our kids that they came back with renewed sense of purpose. The last 3 days of practice have probably been our 3 best days that we've had this year. And I think you saw some players today play as well as they played all year. We were also able to get a few other players in the game, which I was really happy about. And being able to shake off the cobwebs that way today and then turn around and have another chance to do the same thing on Sunday before we go into the SEC is really important. I'm just happy today that we played the way that we did.
Strong defensive effort today from your team. You forced them into 22 turnovers, which turned into 30 points off turnovers, held them to 29% shooting percentage, but kind of midway through that fourth quarter there was when they got a lot of that added onto it. I think at one point, midway through the fourth, it was like down to 23 or 24%. Yeah. Just talk about what was the focus defensively as you were preparing for this game, and just kind of what are you going to be able to take out of this game defensively moving forward?
We really wanted to focus on just being great at who we are defensively in terms of sticking to our defensive principles. So there's a bunch of different defenses that you can play, but if you can play solid in all of them based on how you teach every day and then rebound the ball, then you can be a great team. And I think for us today, we played a lot of man, we trapped a little bit, we switched a little bit, we played some zone. And to me, none of it matters if we don't do it well. And so being able to start off the game the way that we did and get some things off our pressure, I think was important. I do like to play aggressive defense, but we also have to be able to sit in a zone or switch a little bit and clog up the lane. There were ebbs and flows to it. I think we have to rebound the ball better. But for the most part, our defensive effort was great. And as we go into the SEC season, it has to be great. It has to, or we don't have a chance to win. So one of the things we talk about, I don't really care who we play against. I have a lot of respect for FDU and Coach Gately, but the opponent never matters to me. It matters how we play in accordance with who we are, and are we getting closer to maximizing our full potential as a team, and I thought we did today.
Talked about this a little bit before, but maybe go into a little bit more in-depth about it. You played a lot of players who maybe don't get a lot of normal reps like this. Mm-hmm. You outscored them from the bench 25-5 today. How important is it for players like that to get these reps going into SEC season? If they do get thrown in the fire, they're familiar as opposed to having that deer in the headlight light.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you have the opportunity to get reps in a game, especially when you're young, Ayanna Mitchell today, Camille Pierre was able to play a lot today. I think those are really important to your growth. Number one, it's different when you're playing in a game, and I want them to understand the way that it feels on game day needs to be the way that it feels every day at practice. In order for you to get the most out of playing in games, you have to treat practices like games. And young kids start to understand that when they get in games and everything's moving at a quicker pace or playing against players that are bigger, more athletic, not necessarily today, but as we move forward, as you mentioned, you never know what could happen. Someone can roll an ankle, someone can get the flu, and somebody else is going to have to play 35 minutes. So they need to understand what that looks like and how to prepare for it.
Today's win moves your team's record to 12-1, matches last season's win total. How big of a message is just to show the improvement from year 2 to year 3 as you continue to grow this program? Because I know you haven't even hit SEC play yet, and you've already got a team that's already equaled what last season's squad did.
Right. I mean, we have a very clear goal, and we have since we took this job. And I knew that it was going to be, people say brick by brick, and it truly has been. And I'm just so grateful for the players in that locker room that have invested in the vision that we have for our program, because it hasn't been easy, but they're starting to see their hard work pay off. And there are a lot of games this year that we won that last year we lost. We weren't able to hold on to the lead. We weren't able to pull it out at the end. There's growth there. And when you go into your SEC season and you have the confidence of winning games like that, that can only be a good thing for your team. But we're not nearly where we need to be. We're not nearly as good as I think we can be. And we have to be great during the season, during the conference season, because it's important for us to make sure we win the games we need to win, the games we can win, hopefully some we're maybe not supposed to win on paper, so that we have a chance not only to be competitive in our conference, but to be competitive in the NCAA tournament.
All right, Coach. Thank you for your time. Congrats on the win. And good
Thank
luck
you.
on Sunday against Radford.
Thank you. All right, let's go, everybody. Yes. Tough crowd. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.